Introduction. When it comes to iconic fictional giants, few are as recognizable as Godzilla and the Avengers. One is a towering monster that embodies the destructive forces of nature, while the other is a team of superheroes who have come together to defend Earth from intergalactic and supernatural threats. But what would happen if these two forces collided? Could Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers, defeat a creature as monstrous and unstoppable as Godzilla? This article will explore this hypothetical battle by analyzing both sides' strengths, powers, weaknesses, and strategies. By comparing Godzilla's unmatched destructive capabilities and the Avengers' diverse arsenal, we'll look at who would emerge victorious in a battle for the ages. The legacy of Godzilla. Godzilla, the king of the monsters, has been a symbol of destruction and disaster since his debut in 1954. Originating in Japan, Godzilla was created by director Ishiro Honda as a metaphor for the destructive power of nuclear weapons, particularly the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Over the decades, Godzilla has evolved into a global icon, a massive, nearly indestructible creature capable of wreaking havoc on cities and combating other equally dangerous kaiju, giant monsters. The powers of Godzilla. The sheer scope of Godzilla's power is mind-boggling. With a height that can range from over 100 meters, 330 feet, to even larger, Godzilla dwarfs most human-made structures, creating a sense of awe and terror in any audience. His atomic breath, a concentrated beam of nuclear energy, is capable of obliterating entire buildings, forests, and even other monsters. This ability alone makes Godzilla a nearly unstoppable force, able to level cities in mere moments. Godzilla's regenerative healing factor allows him to recover from almost any wound, making him incredibly difficult to defeat in battle. Even after facing devastating injuries, Godzilla can continue to fight, often growing stronger as a result of his exposure to radiation and damage. This regenerative ability gives him a significant advantage over foes who might otherwise be able to damage or incapacitate him. In terms of physical strength, Godzilla can easily overpower and crush giant monsters, buildings, and military vehicles with a single blow. His immense size, combined with his tough hide and near invulnerability, make him an almost impossible foe. Godzilla's impact on pop culture. Godzilla's cultural impact cannot be overstated. He's not just a giant monster, he represents humanity's struggle against forces far beyond its control. In some films, Godzilla is depicted as a villain, while in others, he is a hero who defends Earth from even worse monsters. His character has been reimagined in various ways over the years, from a horrifying nuclear menace to a protector of the Earth. But regardless of his alignment, one thing remains constant: Godzilla is a force of nature, and standing against him is no small feat. Who are the Avengers? The Avengers, Marvel's flagship superhero team, was first introduced in 1963 by writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby in the Avengers #1 comic book. Comprised of some of the most powerful and skilled individuals in the Marvel Universe, the Avengers are Earth's primary defenders against extraterrestrial and cosmic threats. From aliens to gods, the Avengers have faced a staggering variety of foes, all of whom required a combination of strength, intelligence, and strategy to defeat. Key Avengers members. The roster of the Avengers has evolved over time, but the following characters represent some of the most iconic members of the team. Iron Man, Tony Stark, a genius inventor and billionaire philanthropist. Tony Stark created the Iron Man armor, a powerful suit of powered armor equipped with an array of weapons, flight capability, and advanced artificial intelligence. Stark's intellect and technological prowess make him a vital member of the team. Thor, the god of thunder and son of Odin. Thor possesses the enchanted hammer Mjolnir, which allows him to control lightning, fly, and summon immense power. As a god, Thor is almost invulnerable to physical harm and can manipulate the very forces of nature. Captain America, the super soldier serum has turned Steve Rogers into one of the world's greatest combatants. Armed with an indestructible shield and a strong moral code, Captain America is known for his leadership and tactical brilliance. Hulk, Bruce Banner, a gamma radiation experiment gone wrong turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk, a creature of immense strength and endurance. The angrier the Hulk gets, the stronger he becomes, making him a nearly unstoppable force when unleashed. Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, Stephen Strange wields powerful magic and controls the mystical arts. His abilities allow him to manipulate reality, cast spells, and even control time itself. Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, a mutant with reality-altering powers, Wanda can manipulate probabilities, bend time, and even warp reality to her will. Her abilities make her one of the most powerful members of the Avengers. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, a former Air Force pilot who gained superhuman strength, energy manipulation powers, and the ability to fly, Captain Marvel is a powerhouse who can go toe-to-toe with cosmic threats. The powers of Godzilla vs. the Avengers arsenal. At first glance, Godzilla's raw power and size seem unbeatable. However, the Avengers are not a team that backs down from challenges. Let's break down how they might respond to Godzilla's overwhelming might. Godzilla's power. Atomic breath. While it's clear that Godzilla's atomic breath could devastate large swathes of the battlefield, the Avengers have several characters capable of countering or mitigating this attack. Thor's lightning might be able to interfere with Godzilla's energy blasts, and Captain Marvel could potentially use her energy manipulation abilities to absorb or deflect the attack. Size and strength. Godzilla's massive size gives him an edge in close combat, but Hulk, with his own incredible strength, could match Godzilla blow for blow. Thor's strength is also formidable, and Iron Man's Hulkbuster suit was designed specifically to fight opponents like the Hulk. Regeneration. Godzilla's regenerative healing factor could prove to be one of his greatest advantages, but Scarlet Witch's reality-bending powers could potentially give the Avengers an opportunity to disrupt his healing process or weaken him. The Avengers' strengths. Technology and weapons. Iron Man's advanced technology could potentially be used to exploit Godzilla's weaknesses. His array of missiles, repulsor blasts, and cutting-edge tech would be formidable in a prolonged battle. Thor's magic. As a god, Thor's abilities go beyond mere physical strength. His control over lightning, coupled with Mjolnir's enchantments, could disrupt Godzilla's atomic breath and even deal considerable damage. Strategic leadership. One of the greatest strengths of the Avengers is their ability to work together. Cap's leadership and tactical skills would be essential in directing the team to coordinate their efforts against Godzilla. Analyzing the battle, Godzilla vs. the Avengers. Let's delve into a possible scenario where these two forces collide. The terrain. The battlefield would play a significant role in the outcome. A large, urban environment would favor Godzilla's sheer size and destructive capabilities. On the other hand, the Avengers' ability to fly, via Iron Man, Thor, and Captain Marvel, and their varied ranged attack options could give them an edge in mobility. The Avengers' strategy. In a battle with Godzilla, the Avengers would likely have to work together to take down the beast. Thor and Captain Marvel would engage Godzilla head-on, using their raw power and abilities to keep him occupied while Iron Man and Doctor Strange attempt to find a more tactical solution. Scarlet Witch's ability to manipulate reality and time could be crucial in shifting the battle in their favor. Could the Avengers win? In a straight-up battle, it's likely that Godzilla would cause immense damage before the Avengers could stop him. However, with the right strategy and teamwork, the Avengers could potentially find a way to bring down the giant monster. It would require using their full array of powers, tech, and magic to exploit Godzilla's weaknesses. A victory for the Avengers would most likely come through clever tactics and the utilization of their superior teamwork and resources. Conclusion. The question of whether Earth's mightiest heroes could defeat Godzilla is not an easy one to answer. Godzilla's raw power, regenerative abilities, and atomic breath make him a terrifying foe. However, the Avengers are no slouches, and their diverse powers and teamwork give them the tools they need to counter Godzilla's might. While the battle would be fierce, with heavy casualties on both sides, it's likely that the Avengers could find a way to triumph not through brute force, but through strategy, unity, and the combination of their unique abilities. Would the Avengers be able to save Earth from the King of Monsters? The answer may depend on the circumstances and the strategies they deploy, but with Earth's mightiest heroes united, hope is never lost. The science of Godzilla. One of the most fascinating aspects of Godzilla's character is the sheer impossibility of his existence in real-world terms. His massive size, atomic breath, and regenerative abilities challenge the laws of biology, physics, and chemistry. Yet, his continued popularity in films suggests that audiences are willing to suspend disbelief when faced with such an iconic figure. For the sake of exploring a potential battle with the Avengers, let's take a closer look at the science behind Godzilla and consider how the Avengers might deal with such a seemingly impossible creature. Size and biology. Godzilla's size is perhaps one of the most striking features. In most films, he stands over 100 meters tall, and in some versions, he can grow even larger. This raises a critical question: is a creature of Godzilla's size even biologically feasible? In reality, the mass and weight of such a creature would crush its own bones under the force of gravity, making it impossible for him to exist. To put this in perspective, Earth's gravity exerts immense pressure on the skeletal structure of living organisms. A creature as large as Godzilla would need an extraordinary biological framework to support such size, thick, reinforced bones, extreme muscle density, and an efficient system for delivering oxygen and nutrients throughout his body. It is likely that Godzilla's physiology is different from anything we know, perhaps drawing from the concept of radiation-induced mutation, which gives him an edge when it comes to surviving and thriving at extreme sizes. One potential weakness of Godzilla is his vulnerability to extreme changes in temperature. If the Avengers were able to cool Godzilla down or manipulate the environment, such as by triggering an ice storm or flooding, they could potentially slow him down. Thor's control over the elements could play a crucial role here. Godzilla's atomic breath. Another key feature of Godzilla's immense power is his atomic breath. This blast of concentrated nuclear energy is often depicted as capable of destroying entire cities with ease. The atomic breath, however, comes with several potential weaknesses. It's not a constant attack but rather a charge-up that takes time and focus. This gives the Avengers an opportunity to avoid the blast or use some sort of countermeasure to neutralize or deflect it. The Avengers' technological arsenal could present one solution. Iron Man's suits, particularly his Hulkbuster armor or perhaps a newly created Godzilla Buster suit, could be equipped with shields or reflective panels that might absorb or deflect the radiation, thereby preventing the full brunt of the atomic breath from hitting the team directly. Additionally, Doctor Strange's magic could serve as an essential tool. Given his immense command over mystic forces, Doctor Strange might be able to cast a protective spell to shield the Avengers from the most dangerous effects of Godzilla's breath, redirecting the blast or even absorbing its energy for a short period. Godzilla's regeneration and evolution. Godzilla is known for his remarkable regenerative abilities. In nearly every version of the monster, he can heal from devastating injuries, including massive cuts, broken limbs, and even wounds that would be fatal to most creatures. This healing factor is so powerful that Godzilla has been depicted as being able to regenerate from the destruction of a large portion of his body in previous films. The Avengers would have to find a way to neutralize this regenerative power to avoid a prolonged battle with a creature that would simply heal after each blow. One potential way to disrupt Godzilla's regenerative abilities could be through Scarlet Witch's reality-altering powers. Her ability to manipulate the fabric of reality itself gives her a unique advantage in a fight against Godzilla. If she were able to warp reality to restrict Godzilla's healing factor, they could gain a significant upper hand. Alternatively, Doctor Strange's spellcasting abilities could potentially create a magical barrier that prevents Godzilla from regenerating, at least temporarily. Another potential method could involve using antimatter or nuclear disintegration, leveraging Iron Man's or Thor's power to disrupt Godzilla's nuclear energy flow, which might prevent him from regenerating. This concept is still speculative, as there are very few examples of antimatter being used against Kaiju of Godzilla's scale, but it's certainly worth considering when exploring ways to counteract the monster's durability. The Avengers' strategy. While Godzilla's raw power and massive destructive potential present an overwhelming challenge, the Avengers are no strangers to dealing with foes of incredible might. Over the years, the Avengers have faced threats that range from alien invaders like Thanos to interdimensional beings like Loki and Kang the Conqueror. The question, then, is not whether the Avengers can face Godzilla, but how they would approach such an enemy and devise a plan to neutralize him. Tactical advantage. The Avengers' strengths. The Avengers possess a wide variety of abilities, and in a battle with Godzilla, teamwork would be their greatest asset. Unlike Godzilla, who works alone and relies on brute force, The Avengers operate as a highly coordinated team that complements one another's strengths. Thor would likely lead the charge against Godzilla, using his godly powers and Mjolnir to attempt to weaken or distract the Kaiju. His mastery over lightning could counter Godzilla's atomic breath, though the sheer energy output of Godzilla might still challenge Thor's control over the elements. Captain America would assume a strategic leadership role, directing the team and coordinating their attacks. His shield might provide some protection from Godzilla's attacks, and his tactical mind would be essential in directing the Avengers to exploit any weakness in Godzilla's defenses. Iron Man would undoubtedly design a new set of suits specifically tailored for this battle. Considering that Tony Stark has created Hulkbuster armor for taking on the Hulk, it's not far-fetched to imagine that he could develop something specifically to combat Godzilla's immense size and nuclear energy. Equipped with advanced weaponry and possibly EMP, electromagnetic pulse, devices, Iron Man could attempt to weaken Godzilla's atomic energy or find ways to exploit weaknesses in his defense. Hulk would be essential in keeping Godzilla engaged in close combat. While Godzilla may dwarf Hulk in size, the Hulk's incredible strength, which increases the angrier he gets, could potentially match Godzilla's raw power. Hulk's regenerative abilities might also allow him to survive longer in the fight, although he would need to rely on the Avengers for backup, as even Hulk would find Godzilla's size and power difficult to handle. Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Captain Marvel would likely provide magical and cosmic support. Doctor Strange's spells could either shield the Avengers from Godzilla's attacks or manipulate the environment to their advantage. Scarlet Witch's ability to alter reality might be critical in disrupting Godzilla's regeneration or even turning the tide of the battle by manipulating time or space. Captain Marvel's energy blasts could serve as powerful long-range weapons to attack Godzilla from a distance. Could the Avengers win? While Godzilla is a virtually indestructible force, it's important to note that the Avengers have overcome seemingly impossible odds before. With their combined intellect, strength, and resourcefulness, there are a number of ways they could find a path to victory. The key to defeating Godzilla lies in strategy, coordination, and the unique abilities of each member of the Avengers. The Avengers have dealt with godlike beings, extraterrestrial threats, and creatures with vast power in the past, and while Godzilla is a unique challenge, the Avengers have the experience to handle it. The battle would likely be long and destructive, but with a combination of technological advancement, magic, teamwork, and sheer perseverance, the Avengers have a realistic chance of defeating Godzilla. The role of humanity. Is there a way to stop Godzilla without destruction? One of the defining aspects of the Avengers is their commitment to protecting humanity. Unlike other heroes who may focus purely on combat, the Avengers are known for trying to find peaceful solutions whenever possible. In the case of Godzilla, whose actions are often triggered by external threats, there may be a way to de-escalate the situation. Could the Avengers find a way to stop Godzilla without destroying him or causing widespread devastation? This would likely involve understanding the root cause of Godzilla's appearance and mitigating the circumstances that brought him to Earth. If the Avengers were to try to peacefully resolve the conflict, they might seek to communicate with Godzilla, if such a thing were even possible. Given that Godzilla often appears to be responding to a threat or acting in self-defense, the Avengers could attempt to neutralize whatever is causing Godzilla's rage. This would require Doctor Strange's mystical expertise or perhaps the negotiation skills of characters like Black Panther or Captain America. Ultimately, the Avengers' sense of duty to protect humanity and their planet would likely lead them to explore non-destructive solutions, even if that means containing or redirecting Godzilla rather than defeating him outright. Conclusion. In the epic showdown between Godzilla and the Avengers, the odds are stacked in Godzilla's favor. His immense size, atomic breath, and regenerative abilities make him a terrifying adversary. However, the Avengers are a highly skilled and powerful team that has faced cosmic threats and monstrous foes before. Their teamwork, diverse abilities, and resourcefulness would allow them to formulate a strategy capable of taking down Godzilla, though it would require careful planning, patience, and potentially a fair amount of destruction in the process. Would the Avengers win? Perhaps. But the battle would be fierce, costly, and require every bit of their combined strength and wit. And even if they did defeat Godzilla, the question remains, could they save their city, their planet, and themselves from the aftermath of such a colossal battle? This remains a question for the ages, but one thing is for sure, the Avengers would not go down without a fight. The battle's environmental impact, setting the stage. Any showdown between Godzilla and the Avengers would undoubtedly leave an indelible mark on Earth itself. With a creature as massive as Godzilla, the consequences of such a battle extend far beyond just the physical damage to cities and infrastructure. The environmental fallout could be disastrous. Godzilla's very presence is often tied to catastrophic events, whether caused by the creature's actions or by the environmental factors that lead to his emergence. In the movies, his rampages frequently result in the devastation of entire cities, the destruction of ecosystems, and the poisoning of air and water through his radioactive breath. As such, it's important to consider how the Avengers might work not only to subdue Godzilla but to protect Earth from the aftermath. The fallout of a Godzilla battle. Should the Avengers fail to defeat Godzilla quickly, the environmental damage would be catastrophic. Godzilla's atomic breath alone could trigger massive environmental shifts, melting entire sections of city, causing radioactive contamination, and possibly creating an ecological disaster that would have long-term consequences for the planet. The oceans and forests could be severely impacted as well, as Godzilla often emerges from the sea, and his presence disturbs the balance of nature. In such a scenario, the Avengers would have to do more than just stop Godzilla. They would need to contain the radioactive fallout, perhaps using Iron Man's technology to create a large-scale purification field or relying on Doctor Strange's mystical powers to shield the environment. A cosmic solution, perhaps involving Captain Marvel or Thor, might be required to prevent the Earth from being irreversibly altered by the destructive forces unleashed during the fight. Given Godzilla's penchant for survival, even after being injured, the Avengers would also have to consider how to neutralize Godzilla's nuclear energy. If they were successful in weakening him, it would be crucial to somehow prevent the creature from causing further environmental destruction, as his energy might continue to destabilize the surrounding ecosystem long after his defeat. The psychological warfare, Godzilla's instincts versus the Avengers' strategy. While physical power is certainly important in a battle between Godzilla and the Avengers, psychological warfare could play a key role in the outcome. In many ways, Godzilla operates on animal instincts, driven by territorial dominance, the need for survival, and a primal rage. This sets him apart from some of the Avengers' more calculating foes. The Avengers would need to outsmart Godzilla, not just outmuscle him. Using psychological tactics, such as luring Godzilla into specific traps or playing off his weaknesses, could be pivotal in turning the tide. Using Godzilla's territorial nature. Godzilla is often depicted as a creature with a strong territorial instinct. In many films, Godzilla fights not out of malice but in response to threats to his habitat, whether it's an attack from other kaiju or a disturbance in the balance of the natural world. Understanding this could give the Avengers a significant advantage. By provoking Godzilla into a controlled environment, they might be able to isolate him from the cities and minimize the collateral damage caused by his rampages. One potential tactic would be to employ Black Panther's vibranium technology to create a barrier or a containment structure, drawing Godzilla into an area that would limit his movement. With the help of Doctor Strange, they could even manipulate the surrounding environment, using magical illusions or teleportation to confuse Godzilla and break his focus. Exploiting Godzilla's inability to reason. Unlike most of the Avengers' previous enemies, Godzilla does not engage in traditional human-like strategies or diplomacy. This lack of reasoning presents both a challenge and an opportunity. If the Avengers are able to exploit this weakness, they could use more deceptive tactics to throw off Godzilla's focus. For example, using illusionary magic from Doctor Strange or Hawkeye's precise and distracting weaponry could serve to confuse Godzilla or mislead him into areas where his size and power become liabilities. It's also worth noting that Godzilla's motivations are often tied to an intrinsic connection with Earth itself, especially in recent films, where Godzilla is portrayed as a protector of nature. If the Avengers can tap into this connection and present themselves as guardians of the planet rather than mere adversaries, they might be able to reach a kind of symbiotic understanding with Godzilla. This idea pushes the narrative beyond an all-out fight to one where diplomacy, even in its most primal form, plays a role. The role of technology, Iron Man's arsenal and innovations. If there's one member of the Avengers who is more than equipped to deal with the technological challenges posed by Godzilla, it's Iron Man. Tony Stark's ingenuity has been demonstrated time and time again, whether in his Hulkbuster armor or the creation of the Mark 85 suit that he used to defeat Thanos. Facing off against a creature like Godzilla would require the full range of Stark's genius and creativity. A new suit for Godzilla. The most immediate solution Tony Stark would likely explore is creating a specialized suit specifically designed for the battle against Godzilla. The suit would need to be vastly more durable and powerful than any other Iron Man armor to withstand Godzilla's physical strength and atomic energy. Given Stark's access to Stark Industries' resources and his advanced AI systems, he could integrate cutting-edge technology, like EMP weapons, nuclear energy absorbers, and long-range projectile systems to mitigate Godzilla's impact. Furthermore, Iron Man could leverage miniaturized repulsor beams that allow him to strike at Godzilla's weak spots, such as his eyes, joints, or heart. The suit could also be equipped with energy dampening or radiation-reflecting properties, preventing Godzilla's atomic breath from overwhelming the armor and its systems. Tony Stark's resourcefulness might also extend to creating drones or satellite-based weaponry that could provide tactical support from the sky, delivering high-precision strikes or delivering containment devices to limit Godzilla's movement. Even in the worst-case scenario, Stark's genius might allow for a plan to trap Godzilla in a containment field, perhaps utilizing a combination of artificial gravity fields and advanced force fields to prevent him from escaping. Iron Man and Thor's combined assault. Another possibility for defeating Godzilla could be a combination of Iron Man's technology and Thor's godly power. The two Avengers are natural collaborators, with Iron Man's cutting-edge tech complementing Thor's elemental control over lightning and storm. Together, they could create an electromagnetic weapon capable of harnessing the energy of both Mjolnir and the arc reactors in Iron Man's suit. By combining their powers, they could form a kind of energy overload, targeting Godzilla's energy core and attempting to incapacitate him by overloading his nuclear reactors. Beyond the battle, what happens after Godzilla's defeat? Even if the Avengers manage to subdue or defeat Godzilla, the consequences of such a massive battle would not simply disappear. Godzilla is a force of nature, and his battle with the Avengers would likely have long-lasting consequences. The need for reconstruction and recovery. Godzilla's battles are often associated with massive destruction, and the aftermath of such a battle could take years to repair. If the Avengers are successful in stopping Godzilla, they would face the immense task of rebuilding. Cities would need to be restored, ecosystems healed, and the physical and emotional toll on humanity would be immense. The Avengers would likely have to spearhead efforts to restore the environment, focusing on cleaning up radiation contamination, rebuilding infrastructure, and providing aid to those who were affected by the fight. This would be a monumental task for a team that has fought cosmic entities and extraterrestrial invaders but now faces the consequences of fighting an ancient, nuclear-powered beast. Additionally, the Avengers would need to manage the public perception of Godzilla's rampage. While Godzilla is often depicted as a misunderstood force of nature, the Avengers' actions to contain or defeat him could be viewed as a necessary evil. Would they be seen as saviors, or would they be blamed for triggering an even worse disaster by engaging with Godzilla? This would likely lead to a political and moral dilemma, with questions about whether the Avengers should have found another way to deal with Godzilla's arrival. Conclusion: the ultimate showdown. The battle between Godzilla and the Avengers would undoubtedly be one of the most intense and destructive conflicts ever witnessed on Earth. Godzilla, with his massive size, nuclear breath, and regenerative abilities, presents a truly unique challenge. However, the Avengers' combination of intellect, strength, teamwork, and sheer will to protect the planet would make them formidable opponents. The key to victory lies in their ability to adapt to Godzilla's strengths, exploit his weaknesses, and come up with creative solutions that combine their individual powers and technologies. Whether they fight to destroy him or find a way to coexist, this clash of titans would test the limits of what the Avengers are capable of. In the end, while Godzilla may be a force of nature, the Avengers have proven time and again that they are Earth's mightiest heroes, and if anyone has a chance of defeating Godzilla, it's them.